Hi, I'm John Carter, principal at Westlake High School. I hope in the next few minutes to take you through some of the proposed changes to Westlake High School in the next 10 years as a part of the draft Master Facility Planning project here in Eanes ISD. When we look at this current map as it stands right now, the gray area is the current existing structures at Westlake High School, with this end right here being the Performing Arts Center, this being the main entrance off of West Bank Drive, and this being the existing 9th grade center. And so this is our west to east orientation. When we start looking at some of the proposals, one of the proposals that we have is a classroom addition that would connect this portion of the existing building into the 9th grade center at this location. So a 2.5-story classroom addition in this location. In order to build this particular building, we would need to remove the current building, which houses the practice gym and 4 classrooms right now: the yearbook, the newspaper, photojournalism, and another film class. And so we would take that building out in order to house this. Another piece of addition is this little bridge right here to connect the existing 2nd and 3rd floors of the main campus to the 2nd and 3rd floors of the 9th grade center. So those would be some additions to the particular building. In removing the current practice gym, we would have need for additional gym space. And so the proposal is to have another gym down here at this corner of the PAC and athletics facilities, and then a full-size dance facility with a full wooden dance floor, everything that the dancers need for a full dance performance. Another piece of the proposal is to add some student parking. One area to add that student parking is down here where the current transportation barn is. That would be accomplished by moving the transportation barn, all of the various buses, over far to the west at the Shriner tract. So this bus parking area down here on the existing Shriner tract would be where the buses would go in order to free up some space for parking. We would also add some additional parking here at the corner of Camp Craft and West Bank, and find some additional parking spots to add over across the street in the tennis football complex. So additional parking there. We would also be proposing the addition of a turf field. Right now we have a grass field that is not full size, located across the street from the school, back by the softball field. But we would want to make that turf and make it a full size field so lacrosse, soccer, and other sports could use that. We're also looking at adding some lighting to the tennis courts to allow for tennis to be played into the evening. And then the relocation of buildings and grounds from this particular location as well over to the Shriner tract. So locating transportation, buildings and grounds, maintenance and operations, as well as our technology hub, all at this location over on the Shriner property. Another piece of the expansion here is the addition of a multi-purpose facility, both athletic as well as some space for co-curriculars to use, and an outdoor swimming pool in here. With all of the movement over to the Shriner tract, we also have some space here that's been left open in the plans for some future expansion. And so looking at this overall, one last thing to add is this letter M here. When we add on this gym and this dance facility, the current pathway connecting the front to the back would have to be closed, but yet the band, which is located in this part of the building right here, still needs to be able to get all of their instruments over to the stadium. So we would need the addition of a walkway path that would allow the students to get their materials around to the back. So those are the changes in the overall campus. Let's take a moment now to look a little bit more in depth within the building. As we start looking at some of the proposed changes more in depth, this particular map that you see here is the ground level, or the 2nd floor of the main campus and the 2nd floor of the 9th grade center. And so right here is the current entrance to Westlake High School, the main entrance. And this is the commons area that you might be familiar with, and this is the existing Sept court. This piece right here is the existing library area. One of the proposals is to open up this library into a larger multi-use facility that allows students to collaborate on projects and is much more open 9th through 12th grade. And so we would see the removal of some of the walls that currently separate what's called the 9th grade center library from the 10th grade or the upper class library, so that we have much more of an open library setting. This area right here, as I talked about in the previous portion, is the 2.5-story classroom addition. And so it would connect coming out of the current area where social studies is taught, connect across where that current PE gym area is, and then into the main hallway of the ninth grade center, where these are currently math classrooms in the back area of the freshman library here. So that 2.5-story addition would have multiple classrooms, some large areas to house programs such as robotics, so that we have a large demonstration area, a large lab area for the robotics team and classes. By constructing this particular 2.5-story addition, we enclose some courtyard area here. And these lines in here represent an amphitheater type space or outdoor learning facility where we could house or host several different types of events, or classes could use that area for some instruction. You also see in the hallways, as you go through this proposal, some opening up of the hallways. With our students right now in the hallways, some hallways get rather congested and rather full, and we're looking at proposing some wider open areas with some study suites, study carrel areas where students can collaborate in those hallways. And then over here is the existing non-connection from second floor to second floor, and we would look at building the connection and closing in so that students can walk from the second floor of what's currently the main high school to second floor of the ninth grade center. In this particular area right here, we have the creation of some large group multi-purpose space, which we are currently lacking in the school. This would be ideal for the situations where classes can come together to engage in interdisciplinary projects, such as English and history can come together to explore items that may be in common to their curriculum, or mathematics and science can come together and put multiple classes together in one location. Over in this area, we currently have our technology hub called the NOC housed in here. And that is one example of a district level service that's housed on the high school campus. And one of the parameters we were looking at in our design was removing functions that are not associated with the high school to off campus, so that we can use that space for high school functions. And what we would do then is expand the weight room, which is currently upstairs and used by all sports, and sometimes gets overcrowded and too full to be used, and add some weight room space down in this area. Continuing with some of the proposed changes on the high school campus, specifically at the upper level, we're going to focus on the west end over by the current Performing Arts Center and the current competition gym. In looking at this area, one of the things that is proposed is the addition of another gym to replace the one that would be removed with the demolition of the practice gym and the current classroom structure over by the courtyard. But also adding in a dance facility here that would also house our Highline program, our Star Steppers, and all of our dance classes, so that students have a full-fledged dance facility. This area right here is a locker room area for the use of the students in that gym, as well as in the dance program. Another addition would be in this corner over here where it says training. The relocation of our current athletic training facilities from inside the complex to the outer edge, so more accessible to all of the fields that are out in this direction. And then the use of these offices for different programs, such as the head coach for golf, head coach for baseball, so they have a head coach's office in that athletics complex. One of the small additions to the building is the need for additional storage by our music program, orchestra, and band, and the addition of an additional storage space out here towards the West Bank area off of the band entrance. On this last area that we're going to look at, we're looking at the lowest level. In this particular region right here, this is the bottom level of that 2.5-story classroom addition. And so as it comes down the grade here, there would be no bottom floor in this region, but over in this region we would have something with access to the fields outside. So we're proposing looking at adding some locker rooms in this area so that students who have athletics outside can come in from the outside and exit to the outside for their various athletics activities. In addition, we're proposing adding a wrestling room, a dedicated wrestling room in this area. Right now our wrestling team practices in the ninth grade cafeteria. It'd be nice to have a room that is set up so that wrestling can take place in that room on a regular basis. So other pieces in this lower level, following the pattern that we saw up on the second floor, would be the addition of some collaborative learning spaces in the hallways to allow students to collaborate, whether in these small study groups or just widened hallways at these areas as indicated.